afternoon everybody, and welcome to Thirsty Thursday here on the How to Craft Network. My name's Claire Manning from Thirsty Brush, and I'm here on a Thursday at 1 p.m. and Sunday for the Sunday Chill at 1 p.m. with all demonstrations, Thirsty Brush and crafty ideas. Do subscribe to the channel if you like these videos, and hit the bell, give it a thumbs up, and you'll get notified of all the videos that get uploaded from myself, Tony from Stamps by Me, Carly from Imala, and Simon from Avago Ink. So there's absolutely tons of inspiration there for you. Today I'm going to do a Valentine's theme because it's Valentine's in not too long, and I thought we'd use this lovely, it's one of our very first releases actually from the Thirsty Brush collections. It's the I Heart You stamp set and coordinating die. You can see mine is very well used. I've used this a lot to make kind of hanging hearts, and I thought I'd do something a bit like that as a change to a Valentine's card, although I will be doing some cards as well on future videos. But I thought I'd do a little bit different than I have done before and make it, let's see if we can make it like a shaker hanging heart kind of thing. So the dog's just woken up. He's having a good scratch, so he may or may not join us during this video, we'll see. Oh no, he's settled back down, I think. So the first thing to do is that I want to make the hanging heart with this lovely larger of the two wreath designs. And you'll see from the coordinating dies, they're huge for a start, but you get the outline die, and then you get these middle ones to cut out all or half of your middle. So let's cut out our main shape. So I'm going to do this with the die cut first and then stamp, and I'll explain why as I'm doing it. So on my die cut plate, I've got a piece of white card, and I'm going to use the main outline and the middles. So you could do this bit before or after. The reason I'm doing it now before is that I want to tape all of these dies together. So when I cut out my other pieces, so I can glue them together and make a nice thick heart, I want them to all be in exactly the same place. Now, because the middles are separate, I don't want that to happen where they might slip and then I've got pieces that don't fit, for example. So I've put one piece of tape, you could put a couple even. This one I stamped first. Look, so it really doesn't matter as long as when you put the die pieces through, you keep them all together so that when you cut your next piece, which I'll show you in a second, that doesn't sound too healthy, does it? It's exactly, those pieces are in exactly the same place as they were on the first one. So here we go. In fact, let's turn that over and then I can leave. Okay, so now if we took out the piece that we need, which is to stamp onto, and the reason I'm not just popping it out, but I'm carefully peeling it, is that I want to keep all those dies taped together. It sounds like a faff, but actually it's a really good way to keep all your pieces the same shape. Otherwise you end up cutting the next piece, which I'll show you in a minute, and then it doesn't quite fit or something. So you've probably got better low tap tape than me. This is just sticking everywhere. So can you see now that those middle pieces and that edge piece are there ready for you to put your next piece on and go. So obviously there's only going to be one piece on the top, so this is the one that you need to stamp your image onto. Let's get rid of those other dies. If you are doing it this way and die cutting first, then use my trick of keeping the outer piece, so you've got something for your magnet to hold on to. That just helps keep it in place. So this is going to end up like quite a thick MDF looking piece, but with just pieces of card. So now I can line up. I hope that's lined up too well, because I don't like to get my head too much in the frame and block you guys from seeing, but you can take your time and line that up really well. I'm just stamping in black today, and then I'm going to add some watercolour in some kind of lovely Valentine-y pinks. Okay, so there we go, we've got our lovely wreath there with the lovely kind of Rennie Mackintosh style hearts. Can you see the die has left us with this middle piece? That's because the middle of the die splits into two in case you want to just cut apart and have things coming out. I just want it like a solid wreath, so I'm just going to trim that off. So that's our lovely wreath there. I think I might use this one actually. I think I've lined that one up slightly better. Just clean down my stamp. So that's our kind of top layer and our decorative layer of the hanging heart design. Before I colour that in, I'm just going to explain the rest, because I'm conscious that without seeing what it's going to end up looking like, or the feel of it, that it's difficult to visualise. So what I did then was, because I've already got the dies already attached to each other, I just went in with my die cutting machine and I cut about, oh god, maybe even a dozen. It's up to you. I'd say go 3 or 4 at the least. But I've cut loads of these just plain on craft card. And I've started to glue them together. Can you see this? So that's like 4 together, 4 or 5 together. And our decorative one, once we've painted it, is going to kind of sit on top there. But can you see now when I line up how really important it is to get those dies in the same place? Otherwise it just doesn't quite fit and you'll end up with all bits kind of showing in the middle. Which one was I going to use now? Is it that one? Yeah, can you see that fits on really lovely? So I started to glue them together because that takes a little bit of time, but let's carry on. With that, I need to leave one unglued for the back, and then obviously the top, and I'm going to add in some acetate at that point. That's going to allow us to put something in the middle. That's my glue. And the reason I've done it in kind of 2 piles here is that we need something, because it's going to be a hanging heart, I need to add in something like some string or some ribbon to allow it to hang up if you want it to. I mean, you don't have to do that, but I really like. So I'm just gluing each of the craft card pieces together, and I don't know about you, but I always end up with tons and tons of craft card left over, because I buy some because I want to do a particular design or something like that, or we just have it in the stash, and it always comes in absolutely giant kind of packs. So the reason I'm doing it in 2 piles, like I say, is so in a minute I'm going to put the ribbon roughly halfway through the stacked up craft card pieces. So there's no need to stamp on these, they're just going to sit in the middle. I'm using plenty of glue and just really nicely lining it up. So can you see there it starts to look a bit like a chipboard or an MDF piece? And then I've cut some nice Valentine colour ribbon, so I want that to sit where it will hang. Cut it to kind of the right size I want, and then now I can sandwich these 2 pieces together. I've done it before where I haven't done it in 2 piles, I've just gone one on top of one on top of one, and then I've always got over halfway through and then realised, oh gosh, I haven't put my ribbon in. So if you want it to sit perfectly in the middle, sandwich your pieces together in 2 piles and then put the 2 piles together. So I hope that's starting to make sense now. Just get rid of that little bit of glue, pick it up with something. I mean, this will dry clear anyway, so it's no big deal. So this is the kind of structure of our shaker heart. So then, do you remember we left one? And that's really, really important. So what we need to do to make it a shaker is add in some acetate at the front and the back. But obviously we want to cover up where the acetate attaches to here. So this is obviously our top layer, so we want a piece of acetate in between the main structure and the top layer, and then another piece of acetate between there and the bottom layer. So that's why it's important you keep that one separate. So what I've done is I've got 2 pieces of acetate here. Mine aren't particularly thick, but it's just what I had lying around. So by all means, use a sturdier acetate if you have, but I'm hoping this will work, and we'll make it work, won't we? Use what you've got lying around. So do you remember our tape together? I mean, that looks like a mess, but it really does do a great job of keeping them all perfect and stopping. And you can use that technique with any of, we do wreath dies and other people do dies where the middle die is separate from the outer die. So it's just a really quick and easy way. It's not very elegant looking, but it does the job. So obviously for the acetate though, we don't want to take the middle out, because otherwise all our sequins will just fall straight through. So we want the acetate to fit perfectly, but we don't need to worry about the middle. I'm going to cut through both at the same time here because it's really thin. So just a little bit of tape just to hold it, because acetate's quite slippy. And then I promise we will go back and decorate our lovely, it's kind of like roses, isn't it? But I just didn't want to do that and then you think, oh, I can't see where this is going. I need to show you the kind of structure of it first. So fingers crossed this works. Actually, I wonder whether slightly thinner acetate might be better, because if it's too thick it might crack as you put it through the die cutting machine, whereas this seems to have worked perfectly. So I hope you can see. Let's try and get some, if I grab some black card, make it stand out. So we've got 2 of those. That's really cool. So let's start from the back. So we want on top of this back piece, it's a really nice cute little thing to give to a friend as well. Make sure you stick it on the right way, or a child even. You could make it really bright and fun and put all sorts of different things on the inside, beads and sequins. I'll show you something that I picked up at Poundland the other day as well that I might see how it looks. So don't worry about all that glue. So that's the whole point of putting this back piece on, is that that's all going to be hidden. Can you see? So glue on the back. Love how thick that's gone. So yeah, that's probably about 12 pieces of craft card, but you know, if you don't want to use all that because you haven't got too much left, or it's a bit precious to you, then don't worry, just as much or as little as you want. But it doesn't really start to feel like a piece of 3D, you know, decor art unless you use 3 or 4, I'd say at least. Oh, went a bit wild with the glue there. So that's the acetate on the back. Can you see? So that's ready for us to put our bits and pieces in once we've decorated. So once we've decorated, that will go on top with the sequins, and then we'll glue that one on top finally. So let's put that aside for a moment. I'm going to keep the colouring really, really simple. I'm going to do a bit of watercolour, but no kind of techniques here. I'm literally just going to splash colour down, some pinks and reds on these flowers and some greens on the leaves. Simple as that. So a little bit of water on my brush. So I do tons of videos like you've seen before on kind of proper techniques with your watercolours. So check those out if you haven't seen them, but this is literally just about splashing some colour on. So I'm mixing a red and a pink here and make it as Valentine-y coloured as you dare. So no shading at all. This isn't watercolour card. This is just standard 300 GSM craft like stamping card. But as long as we don't use too much water, it will happily, and I'm purposely not keeping between the lines here. I'm letting it splash over a little bit. Got these lovely berries and things in the design here, and these almost like heart looking leaves. So we'll highlight those. So mix it up, some lighter than others, some darker. Got these cute little flowers as well. Some more pinky, some more reddy. But nothing too complicated. So now the leaves. And again, we'll do some variation, but we're not worrying about shade here, just a mixture of greens for the different types of leaves. So if I do this kind of deep green for some bits, and then maybe my favourite yellowy green. Oh, horse, the dog's awake. Hi, horse. And very, very loose, very, very quick. This is the kind of easiest painting, quick painting that I love. And I purposely like leaving white space and not getting it perfect, because I just think it gives you that lovely modern look. Hello. Oh. Come to say hello. Hope you can give me a kiss. Oh, thank you. Yeah. That's not your water. You've got your water down there. Thank you for saying hi to everybody there. Oh, he's having a drink now. He's listening to me. Go and have some water. Is that better? Is that better? Just going to add a tiny bit of extra dark in the centre of that rose. Don't know, just feel like that. I'm not talking shade in there, but I think that looks really nice. Almost kind of like a bit shabby chicy to go with the craft card. You know, it's got that kind of like modern shabby chicy kind of look, hasn't it? So I think that's pretty much dry already. So I'm going to turn over and put the piece of acetate onto there. Make sure I glue it down the right way. Okay. So that's going to sit on top of there in a few minutes, but there's a couple of bits I need to do first. I want you to grab my sequins, but I think I still feel like even though this isn't a card, I want to add a bit of a kind of sentiment on there. So I thought I had a look through, wanted something quite small though, because I don't want to detract from the main design. So I had a look through some of my stamp sets, and do you remember the perfumes one, and there was the kind of vase shaped looking perfume bottle, kind of like an old-fashioned one, vintage one again, and there's this lovely Love You little stamp in there that I've totally forgotten about, so I thought let's add that. I don't know whether to put it inside or outside of the heart yet, which is why I'm doing it now, so I can make that decision before I kind of seal it up with all the sequins. So it's this scripty font. It's going to be really, really delicate. So I thought to make it kind of the opposite of the stamped image, which is black on white. I'm doing white on black. This is just a scrap piece of black I had lying around. No, I'm not doing white on black. I decided to do, let's tie it in with the pink. I'm going to use this rosy gold. I did get the white one out and then change my mind. Just a scrap piece of paper. So this is rosy gold, which is kind of like a satin pale pink. I think it was Adele or a few others would have from the group described it as it's exactly the colour of kind of ballet shoes with like a slight golden sheen. It's not gold, but it's got that lovely kind of satiny sheen to it. So you probably won't see too much of that in this. Oh, did I just squidge it there? Oh, don't do that. Don't brush off your powder before you've given it a second to set. It's all right. We just about got away with it. But you know, the anti-static powder, I didn't give it a second. So I'm just going to trim that down. Or shall we go around it? No, I'm not going to fussy cut. I'm just going to trim it down. Okay, so we've got a sentiment. We've got the base with some acetate on. We've got the top with acetate. So what do we think? Do we want to put it inside and then have all the... Yeah, I think so. So if I glue... Oh, no, because it's not going to... You're going to be able to see that, aren't you? You need to think about this, Claire. How about... So I'm thinking now which ways that I might want to do it. Let's have it like that. Could have had it on the back and then put another little piece of card on the back, maybe. But I just didn't... Oh, I've made a right mess of that now. I didn't want to have anything kind of sitting on the outside. That makes sense. That could get caught or anything like that. There we go. So it's almost like a little tag on it like that. That's fine. So to go inside, I'm definitely going to have some sequins. So I've got some of these lovely kind of iridescent whitey cream colours here. And then I think these might be too big for this project, but let me show you them anyway because I found them in the pound shop. It's called party confetti, so I suppose it's supposed to be for your table and stuff, but nobody's having parties right now, are they? I don't know whether the tone's right, but can you see they're really cute little... There's no glitter comes off. They're just a combo of glittery and clear little discs. Let's put a few glittery ones in. Don't really want just the shiniest. They'd be lovely on a wedding table, wouldn't they? But I thought, oh, I wonder if they'd go nice for a shaker card or hanger like this. Sit still now, horse. Who's woken up all over the place. So I know this is a bit of a faff. I thought they were all glittery but like shiny on the back or something. But actually this is really good because I didn't want any of the shine. A few more and then I think we're done. Kind of mix them in. A few more of these maybe. There's a rogue pink one in there, we'll leave that. So I don't want to be shy with the glitter stuff here. I want it to be really full. I think that'll be enough. I quite like that as a mix. Oh, we've got a rogue pink sequin there. But you could do pink or red to match your roses or your ribbon. Go as wild as you like. I've just used what I had to hand. So just before I glue it, yeah, I think that looks really nice. I feel like I've got some glue dried underneath there on the acetate. Or is it on the outside? Okay, so last bit of gluing now. And make sure you've got plenty of glue on this bit. Not enough to squidge out, but plenty to hold it. You don't want those sequins or gems going anywhere. And then just a final line up and a squidge. And there we go. That looks really pretty, doesn't it? So that would be nice hung up somewhere. So yeah, have a go. If you haven't got this particular stamp and die set, I think there are still some on the website if you want it in your stash, but I'm sure you've got something with a wreath or something that you can cut the middle out and do the same kind of technique, really, which is just building up your craft card. You could back it with a different colour if you wanted. I left it the craft because I wanted it to look like the MDF, but you do whatever you want and go to town with your decoration and your gems, sequins, that kind of thing in the middle. I'm really pleased with those little glittery ones. I think they go really well. Great. Okay then, I hope you enjoyed that, and I will be back on Sunday at 1 p.m. You take care of yourselves and stay safe. I will see you next time.